Hello everyone, thank you for watching my YouTube video. So this is another video for your understanding about positive psychology. So the video for positive psychology is now going to the end. So we only have a few more videos to talk. So this video, I'm going to let you know something about stress coping. So from last video, you already know different types of stress. So if you not yet view our last video about stress, so this is good to finish viewing that video, and then for this video you will feel more easier to understand. So for this video, so you will know normally how people cope with the stress and why some people they seldom cope with the stress effectively, right? Before I start, if you're not yet subscribed my channel, please do so. Please also like and share my video to your friends, especially those who really need this kind of knowledge. All right, from the page on the screen you now see is a different process about stress coping. So I'm going to elaborate to you from the top to the bottom. Okay, so from the very top, you see environment and then stimuli and then stressor. So this is really a lot of things make you stressful. What we call them stressor for the environment. For example, being an adult like you, like me. So mostly our stressor can be from the environment. Will be something about a job, about work. Okay, for example, your workload. For example, some deadlines. So you have to see a customer, especially very challenging customer. Okay, so this is something about your work, dealing with difficult people, whatever, right? So this is stressor. For example, if you're a student, so the stressor will be the deadlines of your assignment, the deadline of term paper, to preparing your finals or your task. All right, so or sometimes you have to deal with some friends, some group mates, solving problem with your partner, like girlfriend, boyfriend, and always stressor can be came from different parts. For instance, your family, the school, the environment, and sometimes from the society or even from the government policy as well. Okay, so that's why the stressor comes from the environment. So you have to know stressor is not something we can remove. We can clear, because anything came from the environment is just already out of our control, right? Okay, so after the stressor, after the environment stressor, so second, so we will have perception filter. Perception filter means at the very beginning, we will have to consider whether or not or automatically, so you will probably aware the stressor, or some people they don't aware of stressor. Okay, for example, for some student now, teacher is giving them a very surprise task to do this morning, right? So this stimuli, this stressor only affects everyone who actually attend to their lectures, right? Because they are here and then they get the message and then they will feel something, right? But for those who not really attend the lecture, they're sleeping at home, or you go somewhere. Okay, so for those people not really attend the lectures, they not really perceive the stressor. Okay, so they're not aware of the stressor, right? So this is really common, for example, in a society. So even some citizens, they feel very stressful because of whatever governmental policy. But for some citizens, just because they are living in a rural area, they don't even realize the new policy, the implementation of the new policy, right? So that's why after the first perception filter, so a lot of people, they actually perceive something happening. Okay, so that's why they perceive the stimuli, they perceive the stressor, and then they have to do the first or the primary appraisal. Primary appraisal means the way they interpret or the interpretation of the stressor. For interpretation, right? So that would be divided into three types of interpretation. So if you or if someone interpret the stressor in a positive way, of course, this is not really anything stressful. Okay, example, if your teacher in the morning lecture, the teacher say, everyone, I want you to do like a surprise quiz. Okay, of course, so everyone currently attending that lecture, they can perceive the stressor, like, okay, but for different people, different students in the classroom, so some of them actually interpret the stressor as something positive. Something positive means something motivating, right? Something good. Okay, so they love that. Okay, so now you know why some people, even they have a lot of things to do, but they still feel very happy, because they have always, those people, they are more optimistic. Okay, so they have the optimistic thinking style. That's why they tend to interpret everything in a very, very good way, right, positive way. So that's why they're happy instead of stressful, right? So right hand side, you see something called irrelevant. Irrelevant means, so some people, they tend to believe even something happened, but for me, not meaning anything, irrelevant, no big deal. Okay, so that's why they normally like overlook the things. Okay, don't even take it seriously. Okay, so some students, they seldom take any homework, any midterm so seriously. That's why for them, they don't really believe it's anything, because they more engage in sports or arts. Okay, so whatever, right? Okay, but what actually make people, what kind of people they will feel more stressful would be someone, they tend to interpret that specific stressor. For this example, will be the surprise quiz. Okay, so that's why for this group of people, they will think, oh, this is a challenge, it is a dangerous stuff. Okay, so dangerous or threatening issue. Okay, so that's why they feel that is like threat. Okay, so they make very, very serious, or they become very anxious. Okay, so because they believe this is something to harm the life, or to harm the mental or physical condition. Okay, so that's why this student think, wow, this is a surprise quiz, so this is pretty challenging, challenge my grade, challenge my results of my study, or even challenge my career, whatever. Okay, so this is the first appraisal. So that's why so something happened from the environment after the perceptual filter. So this already like only 80% people we make, because another 20% they're not really aware of the stress. Okay, and then after the first primary appraisal, so I believe we have only like 50% people we make, because some of them go positive, some of them go irrelevant. Okay, so now we have a group of people like 50% of for example the population. So now we go through the second secondary appraisal. Secondary appraisal means they tend to analyze whether or not they have available resources. Okay, example. So now this is of surprise quiz. Okay, so 50% of the people, they now feel, oh, this is something challenging, difficult. Just that's why more or less they feel a little bit stressful. But secondary appraisal, they have to think whether or not I have sufficient resources to tackle the stress, to tackle the surprise quiz. Okay, for example, it is someone, he or she with sufficient resources. That means he studied well, right? He know a lot of things about the surprise quiz. He know what to study. They know where which the scope of the surprise quiz, and then he know how to do, what to do to prepare for the coming quiz. Okay, so that's why for this group of students, so even they realize something threatening, but because they have sufficient resources, so that's why they stay calm. They don't even get too panicked, right? But what about another group of students? Another group of students, they always feel they never have sufficient resources. So that's why they go this way, insufficient resources. Okay, so they will think, wow, I don't know what to study. Or they will think, I never have sufficient resources. I can never finish the study. Okay, so there's always still something missing. Okay, so that's why for this group of people, they interpret or they appraise this kind of stress in terms of insufficient resources. They get very panicked. Okay, so they become confused, they get anxious. Okay, so because they believe they actually have insufficient resources. Okay, so that's why for the stress, it's only for this group of people. Okay, so then in terms of 100% people, so right now, so we probably have like 20% or 30% people we make, because another part of people, they go this way, they have sufficient resources, and then they feel something challenging but not too stressful. Okay, and then for those people remain, like 25% of people, so they will have to overcome the stress. They have to cope with the stress in terms of two methods. Okay, stress coping, we can use problem focused method. Problem focused method means go to change the situation, go to solve the problem. Okay, example, if there's a task coming, surprise quiz. So this group of people, they feel very stressful. What they will do, they will right, on the iPad. They will search for relevant resources, and they take out the textbook, and they study, try to memorize as much as possible. So this is a problem focus, right? But in the world, we have some stressor. They not really have the solution, okay? And then they don't really we can't change the situation, okay? So for example, if it is stress, if it is the quiz outside the scope, outside the syllabus, if the surprise quiz is not really anything related to the study, so then I believe a lot of people, they have to go emotion focus. Okay, so for example, if this is not a common quiz, this is already the quiz already gone, and then the student realized he got failed. Okay, so when you get a fail grade, so this is not really anything. You can solve the situation. This is the fact. Okay, so that's why a lot of time when we have stress, so not necessarily we can solve the problem. For example, the death of your loved one, the death of your dog, the death of your cat. So this is not really anything you can solve. So that's why from this sort of stressor, so we have to use emotional focus coping method. So this is something like, for example, go to sports, go to run, take a hot bath, or some people go to have a drink, and then some people, they will go like meditation or mindfulness practices. So this is something not really can change the situation, but you can change your emotion, you can change your way, you can change your mentality. So that's why in terms of these two coping method, so the result have to be reappraised. Okay, so reappraisal means, so you have to go back, you have to review whether or not your coping method is effective or not effective. So if this is effective, so you, right now, you become calm again, and then you relieve, and then you make yourself a little bit stronger for preparing the coming stress. Okay, so if the method not really useful, for example, you could drink beer, you could drink alcohol, and then right now, so it's only very short-term relief, but the problem remains. Okay, so those people, they have to think of another type of method, or they have to seek help, and then in terms of the help, so they will go to cope with the stress again and again. Right, so this is what I'm going to tell you in terms of stress coping. Always keep in mind why some people always stressful, because the process, they go always negative. Okay, so they attend the stressor, and then they appraise something as very dangerous, and then they always believe they have insufficient resources, and then perhaps they choose a wrong coping method, and then that's why always the stress always remains. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.